Hey, party people! What's going on? Today we have a dev chat from June 30th, 2022. Let's get to the good, shall we? We're going to start off with general questions, answers, and ideas. In the roadmap under modding tools and done, there is a task called generate and load character model deformations from mods. This is about loading deformations into the game. Let's say you want to make a slider for a bigger nose. You would have to create a 3D model with a big nose and import it into the game. This will allow the game to generate that slider and that deformation. Then it'll write that to a special file so it can be loaded without being generated every time you start the game. Players will be able to add poses or custom animations for photo mode. Yay! There's a few methods on how to do mirrors in games. At the moment, in Paralives, they're using another camera in the scene. That camera will do the math and all of its magic to generate an image in the mirror. The shaders that they use to render characters doesn't really gel well with that method. That's why they're experiencing bugs with the mirrors every so often. Will players be able to import their own music so that it could be played on the radio in-game? It's being considered, but it's most likely a yes. Although it's too early to say 100% yes, because they still haven't quite figured out radio or background music yet, so don't get your hopes up, but it's leaning towards a yes. How do developers decide what's actually going to be an option in the game versus the player having to use the mod tools? Jeremy says that for him, mods and options are two very different things. Options would be the screen resolution, volume, or game speed. The mod system would control most things in the game, like the items you can buy, the planets rotating around the Earth, and the distance walls snap to one another. They haven't gone that far with mod and save game management, so at the moment, if you modded in a second moon orbiting around the Earth, you would have it in all of your saves. Are you ready for pet pics? I am. Next on our list would be the live mode. Will paradigms have decimals? It'd be more simple if they didn't have them. Maybe the real question is, should paradigms have decimals? Paras getting visual consequences to the player not filling their needs before a complete fail would be a nice indication about the para's state. It'd be a simple and effective way of letting the player know what's going on. It's those small details that add liveliness to the characters. This is something that frustrates me. Homework doesn't need to be an item that you can lose. Let's say it again. Homework doesn't need to be an item that you can lose. There, it's been said. Relationships with depth would be a nice thing to see in Paralives. In real life, not everything is so straightforward. Humans are complicated, and I agree with Anna, and I would like to see that being reflected in the game and through the relationships in the game. Our final category today is build mode. Furniture snapping together seems like it would be very convenient for the player. This is still something that they're thinking about because they'd have to decide how items could be grouped together. Could a fridge snap onto a couch if they're placed beside each other? Would it make sense for items to automatically snap together like that? Should the player have to manually create groups? Would that be more or less annoying than having to move everything by hand? These are things that the team still needs to test out. Coastal buildings are cool looking. Like, look at this, or this. Will players be able to create coastal buildings which include stilts on the water, or maybe a house partially underwater with the windows showing below the surface? These types of buildings are in their goals, but there's not much detail about them currently. What was your favorite question, answer, or idea from this week's dev chat? Let me know what it was in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week with another dev chat. Bye!